Question 469. What is prayer?
Prayer is turning the heart toward God. When a person prays, he enters into a living relationship with God. Prayer is the great gate leading into faith. Someone who prays no longer lives on his own for himself and by his own strength. He knows there is a God to whom he can talk. People who pray entrust themselves more and more to God. Even now, they seek union with the one whom they will encounter one day face to face. Therefore, the effort to pray daily is part of Christian life. Of course, one cannot learn to pray in the same way one learns a technique. As strange as it sounds, prayer is a gift one obtains through prayer. Saint Therese of Lisieux, who lived in the 1800s, said, "For me, prayer is a surge of the heart." It is a simple look turned toward heaven. It is a cry of recognition and of love, embracing both trial and joy.
Question 470. What prompts a person to pray?
We pray because we are full of an infinite longing, and God has created us men for Himself. Our hearts are restless until they rest in you, from St. Augustine. But we pray also because we need to. Mother Teresa says, "Because I cannot rely on myself, I rely on Him 24 hours a day." Often we forget God, run away from Him, and hide. Whether we avoid thinking about God or deny Him, He is always there for us. He seeks us before we seek Him. He yearns for us. He calls us. You speak with your conscience and suddenly notice that you are speaking with God. You feel lonely, have no one to talk with, and then sense that God is always available to talk. You are in danger and experience that a cry for help is answered by God. Praying is as human as breathing, eating, and loving. Praying purifies. Praying makes it possible for us to resist temptation. Praying strengthens us in our weakness. Praying removes fear, increases energy, and gives a second wind. Praying makes one happy.
471. Why is Abraham a model for prayer?
Abraham listened to God. He was willing to set out for wherever God commanded and do what God willed. By his listening and his readiness to make a new start, he is a model for our prayer. Not many prayers of Abraham have been handed down, but wherever he went, he set up altars, places of prayer to God. And so, along the journey of his life, he had many sorts of experiences with God, including some that tried and unsettled him. When Abraham saw that God was going to destroy the sinful city of Sodom, he pleaded for it. He even wrestled stubbornly with God. His plea for Sodom is the first great intercessory prayer in the history of the people of God.
(472) How did Moses pray?
From Moses, we learn that praying means speaking with God. At the burning bush, God entered into a real conversation with Moses and gave him an assignment. Moses raised objections and asked questions, Finally, God revealed to him his holy name. Just as Moses then came to trust God and enlisted wholeheartedly in his service, so we too should pray and thus go to God's school. The Bible mentions Moses' name 767 times. So central is he as the liberator and lawgiver of the people of Israel. At the same time, Moses was also a great intercessor for his people. In prayer, he received his commission. From prayer, he drew his strength. Moses had an intimate, personal relationship with God. The Lord used to speak to Moses face to face, as a man speaks to his friend. Exodus chapter 33, verse 11a. Before Moses acted or instructed the people, he withdrew to the mountain to pray. Thus, he is the original example of contemplative prayer.
.473. How are the Psalms important for our prayer?
The Psalms, along with the Our Father, are part of the Church's great treasury of prayers. In them, the praise of God is sung in an ageless way. There are 150 Psalms in the Old Testament. They are a collection of songs and prayers, some of them several thousand years old, which are still prayed today in the church community, in the so-called Liturgy of the Hours. The Psalms are among the most beautiful texts in world literature and move even modern readers immediately by their spiritual power. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Psalm 23. Hello, my name is Hannah Goldblate, and this is my name sign. I'm from the state of New Mexico. I want to thank you for watching this video. Hope to see you again next week.